Hey everybody, Todd Michael Putnam from Creative Adventure Tables, bringing another adventure table idea. This one is against the Gnolls. We just finished this session up an hour or so ago. Had a fantastic time. Short version is that the master of the keep, the Duke that runs the keep where the players are based out of, his nephew was part of a rival adventurers group or a rival crawler group, and he hasn't been seen for a couple of weeks. And that's unlike them. They're a very professional, high-end group. They usually know what they're doing. So the Duke has put out a bounty base, or a reward, I should say, for finding his nephew and seeing if they could return him alive. If that's not possible, finding whoever it was that may have done harm to his nephew and proof of their death, along with the return of his nephew's body, would earn a reward. So the players go out hunting to see if they can find it. Eventually, forget about the wolves and stuff around here. They're not there at the beginning. I put them in later. They eventually come across this dwarf guy, and he's laying there all beat up, basically hiding underneath this tree. And he tells them that he's part of that group, of the Duke's nephew's group. Palin the Paladin is what his name is. And he was with them, and it was about a week or so ago that they were camped out late at night and they were overrun by these wild beasts. He thought there might have been werewolves, like an entire pack of werewolves or something, but whatever they were, they just shredded everybody, and he's not proud of it, but he escaped barely with his life, which they can believe, because there's hardly anything left of the guy. He's hanging on by one hit point. And he's got all like post-traumatic stress and stuff. So he said he's not proud of it, but he managed to escape. The last he saw, Palin was alive, but he was about to be overwhelmed, and so he made a break for it. And he gives them the direction for where it's at. Of course, the players ended up healing him up and sending him on the way back to the keep. The players travel for a few more hours, and then they get to where the camp was itself. Again, this was all covered up until they got there, and then I uncovered it. When they get there, before they can actually do any inspections, there's some like big bone crunching sounds and snapping. Turns out that there's a manticore that's feeding on one of the corpses, and he's just chomping away as an opportunity for a free meal. Player had to chase him off, so they fought him for a few rounds and eventually managed to drive him off. And that's when they were able to search through the camp itself, and there was no sign of Palin there. But what had happened was obviously just a complete slaughter. You can see people were like shredded in half. Other bodies were thrown on the fire and burned alive. Just a true, like a crime scene. More than a battle, it was more like a crime scene, just horrific in its nature. But no sign of Palin there. So he could still be alive, and there was a big sign of whoever it was or whatever it was that was attacking them. The group ran off into the woods, dragging bodies with them. So it's possible that Palin is still alive. Maybe he's been captured. And easy enough to follow because it was just like rampaging through the forest. There was no attempt to hide anything. So as they go following that, a few hours later, they get to this location here, which you just pulled those things off. And as they're traveling along, just as it gets past dark, they hear some howling sounds and whatnot, and then they get surrounded by these giant, they think they're like wolves or something. They turn out to be hellhounds, and these gnolls that are behind them, and they get ambushed basically by that. They were able to fight them off, but it was one hell of a fight. And they understood, okay, they didn't find Palin or anyone else with them, but clearly these were a part of the creatures that had ransacked that camp and killed them, because it was such a ferocious fight. And the Gnolls fought much more difficulty than would normally be expected. It was like they were demon possessed or something. It was just off the charts. So the heroes rest up after that, and they follow the tracks back until they get to a cave. There's another fight with some more just Gnolls. There's no more hellhounds or anything like that, but they fight the Gnolls, get them defeated, get a little bit of treasure, but nothing big, and they search the cave. They don't find anything else. They follow along through the cave until eventually they come to this big steel door, totally out of place, like not something the Gnolls would make, that's for sure. So they're not sure how that got there, but when they pop it open, they come in and they're looking. This is Shadow Dark, so everything is dark except for by the torches themselves that they can see, so a 30-foot radius basically. Nobody has dark vision or anything in that game. So they get in here, and then the door seems to close by itself and relock. They don't have a way back out, and they're trapped in this wannabe coliseum, if you will, where there's this giant three-headed troll who essentially acts as some kind of guard, and they see bodies of a couple of gnolls in there, but a whole lot more bodies and bones of various dead victims that have been thrown to it to eat or whatever. And of course, the troll immediately sees them as being food, and he begins attacking. He's this big old three-headed troll, and he would try and grab them. And if he grabbed them with a melee attack with his hands, then after that, he would try and bring them up and bite them at advantage with his teeth, with one of the three heads that he got. So he was pretty brutal, and he didn't regenerate normally on his own, but whenever he would take a bite of somebody, he would regenerate 1 to 6 hit points. So you didn't have to kill him with fire. They didn't have to kill him with fire, but it took a long time. Every time they would knock him down, if he was able to get a bite out of somebody, he would regenerate 1 to 6 hit points, which was up to 3 to 18 hit points per round. That didn't happen, fortunately, but they never got that many bites in one given round, but it was a possibility. But they were eventually able to whack him down and kill him. And here they do find the body of Palin the Paladin. He has indeed succumbed to this creature. But it can't be that this was the end creature they knew, because neither this creature nor the Gnolls would have built a steel door like this. There's something else going on there. And so they're searching around through this natural amphitheater, if you will, and they see up at the top and the back, there's another like passageway going out up and above. So they follow that until they get up these natural stairs into another room that the stone itself appears to be corrupted with like black and purple veins in it. And they had a dwarf in their party, and the way I explained to the dwarf is like, you know what normal stone looks like, and that's what it is, but this stone looks like it has somehow been corrupted by some occult magic. And there was a witch in the party and 2 priests, and all 3 of them had this true deep feeling of the occult and nervousness, and like something really, really wrong has been going on here. And there they see this big guy, which is like a giant gnoll, but on top of that, he's got like this snake that's coming out of him, and he's just like a twisted abomination. And he is Yennegu, who is basically the demon prince of Gnolls, and they end up fighting and battling him. They eventually do kill him, and when they go over into this corner over here, they see that there's some kind of a idol, worshiping idol, and then there's an altar there with a book in it, and you see several dead bodies around here that appear to have been sacrificed. And in the book, the short version of it basically is that there's a paragraph, it's all in demonic, talking about how these souls have been sacrificed by this wand, by the power of this blasphemous wand, and they were able to, and he summons Yennegu to this plane to cause chaos and pandemonium. And so they cut off the head of Yennegu, and they bring back the body of Palin. And of course, they're roundly rewarded. They get a whole bunch of gold for that from the Lord of the Keep. But now they have to find out who it was that actually sacrificed those people, because if you look at it, you can see the bodies that are all around it, but there isn't a body that's one of the player characters, by the way. I didn't take them off. There isn't anybody that's standing behind the thing, behind the book or the altar itself. So whoever it was that did the summoning is still at large, still causing problems. So that's what's going on. That was the adventure story itself. As far as what it's made out of, most of it's Dwarven Forge and Monster Fight Club. Everything over here is pretty much all Dwarven Forge, plus my Todd tiles that you can download from thangs.com. But the rest of that's all Dwarven Forge. And then over all the stuff in here is all Monster Fight Club that you can get from them, monsterfightclub.com. These are the Barren Hills, but I threw had some flocking and stuff thrown on it, so it really goes out, looks good. And then this battle map, I want to say it's from Deep Cut Studios. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what it's from. So anyway, that's it. That's the adventure. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all your comments and stuff. And please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next adventure. Take care. Bye.